All right. Hey, everyone. I am not going to show the usual ad as I usually do. We're just going to go and hop in and answer the questions tonight with Miss Tony Aquino. We're going to have her again on the show, which is amazing considering she is a very busy person, especially with all of the media showcases that's happening with her. And shoot us your question. We have the Discord channel. We have a couple of really interesting questions tonight from Vian, Nino, Mitch, Erica, and a couple other people. And we are going to have these questions on the show. So, who's excited to have Tony here? I know I am, and I know you guys are. So, without further ado, it's Tony Aquino.
Hello, hi. It's always such an honor to be part of your show, even though this is, I think, is this the third time?
Third time,
Third
but seems
time.
like it's we could do this all the time, no problem, right? I
Of
have my
course.
talks that I'm just the only one speaking here. The show ends up so early because when I answer, it's just so direct, so straight,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
people get tired of my face. So it's good to have guests. It's good to have you around, Tony.
hmm Again,
So
thank
how's
you for
it
having
been?
me here. I'm doing okay. As you've mentioned, been busy being a content creator, a TikToker, even,
Yeah.
jogging and then doing the other. I'm kidding. I don't want to say it here. Baka maano ko. Okay, but hello. Hi to Sean's fans and to the other viewers here who might have been following me on TikTok for a while. To hello, welcome.
Yeah, I am following you as well on TikTok, and really good stuff. You how many times do you publish a week?
Maybe at most three, but I try to do once every 2 days if kaya. Mhm.
Once every 2 days. Wow. All right.
Once every two
So
days.
this is your TikTok. Let me get that there. For those of you who are on TikTok or who are even not on TikTok, but you want to follow Tony Aquino, there you go. That's her URL,
Yeah.
tiktok.com/at Antonette Aquino.
Actually, just to, sorry to interrupt, but there's an underscore then kasi
There's an
taken na yung
underscore.
Antonette Aquino. Oo, so it's Antonette Aquino underscore.
Got it. There you go. See how fast
Okay.
our tech team is? I'm the one typing that.
Yeah. So I usually post content about personal finance, well, everything under personal finance, insurance, and investing also. So if you're looking for bite-sized content, quick to consume, you can go ahead to my TikTok account.
Perfect. So, Tony, what do you say? Should we start answering questions?
Game. I'm ready. Go.
All right, here's one from America. I'm interested in stocks but don't know where to start. What would you recommend as an advisor?
Well, what's good about stocks is that it's a very accessible investment, especially for beginners, because you can start with a low amount, and at the same time, it can be easy to learn. So, what's good about it is that like for example, if you invested in Ayala Corporation or AC in 2014, in 2018 it was around 970 per share. So back in 2014 it was about 512. So parang nag-double siya, 'di ba, in 4 years. And you won't be able to find that in a bank, 'di ba? It would take you maybe around 72 years before your investment doubles. So,
Wow,
the three
tagal.
main reasons why, oh, 'di ba? Medyo matagal. So, usually the main reasons why a lot of people would hesitate to invest in the stock market is number one, they don't know how. Number two, they have that fear. And number three, a lot of people who've invested in the stock market um, probably just followed rumors and ended up losing a lot. So for you to get started, you have to overcome those three hurdles. And that would be number one, of course, educating yourself. So the first thing that you should do is learn the ins and outs of stock market investing. So that's the terminology, ano nga ba yung mga strategies that you can apply. And then after that, you can open a stock brokerage account and then buy your first stock. Ganun siya. So I
Do
hope that
you
answered your question.
do you help out with people, Tony, for those who um, go to you and ask you, "Hey, can you help me open my first stock brokerage account and stuff?" Do you do that as well?
Yes, yes. Actually, I have lots of TikTok videos teaching people how to do that. Yung how to open a stock brokerage account, how to buy your first stock, how much you should start with. But if you want it to be personalized, then I also help out my clients with that. So actually, even if you just message me on Instagram and you ask questions like that, I'd be able to entertain that too.
Ayan, napaka-helpful naman ni Tony, no? So,
Of
for
course.
me, I learned it all from Marvin Guillermo. Great guy. Can't promote him enough. Really good stuff, and you could also check out his YouTube channel. I am indebted to him when it comes to my stock trading prowess, and I'm not that great. So, but he's really good.
Yeah, that should have just been the answer. So there's a YouTube channel named Marvin Guillermo. Just go to that if you don't know where to start.
Yeah, but I'm sure a lot of people want it personalized. So if you help them, there you go, right? I mean,
Mhm.
Antonette Aquino. So, second question: which U.S. stocks would you recommend for beginners?
Recommend. Okay, so but first thing before I say my answer, just I want to give this disclaimer. Don't transact or don't buy stocks just because you hear it from me or just because you hear it from Sean. So like going by Marvin Guillermo's words, investing in US stocks even is all about conviction. So take the time to build your conviction on it. But how I do it personally is I like to separate it into two categories. So one is more on future US stocks, stocks that I know have potential value to grow in the future. And then the second category would be branded stocks. So these are stocks that already have a large presence. We all know them, they're familiar to us. So if you want to choose what US stocks to invest in, focus on the sectors that you have conviction in. So, like for example, there are tech stocks which I believe have potential to grow or make you money in the future. Like for example, a lot of people are now entering the EV market. People are now switching to sustainable stocks, and more people are buying electric cars, right? And I believe that 10, 15 years from now, we're all going to shift to that system. So that's why a lot of people would invest in stocks like Tesla or even NEO, right? But for example, if you want to go for stocks that focus on streaming or online platforms like Facebook or Zoom or Netflix. I think we've seen in the beginning of the pandemic that Zoom boomed because there was a demand for it. So I still believe that even after the pandemic, once everything cools down, people would still be using Zoom because now we've sort of realized that we can do everything online now. We can have meetings through Zoom. So that's why I also personally invest in platforms like that. Well, another thing would also be fintech stocks. So fintech stocks like PayPal or Square also have a lot of potential because more and more people are doing cashless transactions now, and it would be, I mean, more and more people prefer that because yun nga, we're trying to limit contact and all of that. But let's say if you want to be more passive, you want less hands-on approach, then Warren Buffett advocates index fund investing. So the index fund basically it tracks the S&P 500 or like the Fortune 500 companies. So if you don't want to spend a lot of time thinking about what stock from the 500 to buy, then you can just simply own every piece of that stock in the Fortune 500. So that's what an index fund is. You can look up Vanguard's growth fund. That's what I like, the VOO, or the Schwab S&P 500 there.
There you go. I think busog na kayo dun sa advice. Ang dami nun, no? Um, if you guys are gonna ask me, I'd just say Google. But that's because I'm in the SEO industry.
Right. Well, because I'm trying to be careful when people ask me questions like this. I don't want to be so
Yeah.
particular about just three stocks or all of that. I gusto ko i-explain na may mga iba-ibang sectors that people can explore. And right, use
Yeah.
Google, diba? If you believe in fintech companies, go search kung if they're a publicly traded company and you can buy US stocks or shares from that company.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. True
Mhm.
that. So those are good stocks. All of those that Tony mentioned earlier. And yeah, I'm also not that great when it comes to stock trading or investing. I do have a lot of stocks kasi nga hindi nga ako magaling. So marami na lang akong biniling iba-ibang most of them blue chip like Google, Tesla, one of them.
Right, right.
Yeah, if you're not that risky, want to play it safe, those Zoom, Facebook, obviously they're making a lot of money now. So can't go wrong with
Yeah.
buying those stocks.
True, true. And another thing that I want to point out is also e-commerce. So you're in the digital marketing space, and stocks or companies like
Mm,
Amazon, diba, Alibaba,
yeah.
Shopify or Etsy, they all disrupt the retail space. So if you believe that 10 or 15 years from now, everyone's going to switch to e-commerce, then best to get into those stocks now while, it's still at its low or it's still undervalued.
Yeah, true that, true that. True
Mhm.
that. And ang daming software na nag-IPO recently. So some of them,
True.
by the way, this is again for me. Then, disclaimer: this is not an endorsement. Um, these are very risky stocks because they just went IPO, but they
Mhm.
are softwares that I personally know from 7 years ago or somewhere there. Monday.com, SEMrush went IPO.
Mhm.
Payoneer went IPO. These are companies I know from way back. And finally, they got the traction and the funds to go IPO right now in the US. And you can buy them if you have a US brokerage account now. So
And
there's still, pasimula pa lang. Yep.
okay, okay. So, well, speaking of opening a brokerage account, it's very easy to do one. Actually, there's an app that allows you to invest even for as low as $1, which is called Go Trade. So you can even explore that. It's open to Filipino-based users as well. And there you'll be able to see yung mga trending stocks. You'll be able to see fundamentals of each company. Well, I made a TikTok video about it too, so you can check that out under the Global Stocks playlist ng TikTok account ko. Todo
There
promote.
you go.
Okay.
Ano pangalan niya? Go Trade?
Go Trade, yeah.
Go Trade.
Mhm.
Check that out in Tony Aquino's TikTok account. I'm sure you have an explanation there, which is going to be really nice for people who want to start doing it. No, one
I do,
dollar.
I do. I have a whole review. I have a tutorial even on how to buy and how to open an account. So you can check that out.
There you go. Now, UITFs.
Mhm.
What are the benefits of UITFs?
Benefits. So first, let's define what the UITF is, just in case other people don't know it. So it's called the Unit Investment Trust Fund, and it's basically where you join other investors and entities to form a trust fund. So it's usually handled by a fund manager or a trust expert. And what happens is that in that fund, it's invested with a portfolio of stocks, my bonds. There are also money market and other types of funds. So in UITF, you'll basically earn from the gain or the loss from the fund performance. So it's different from a mutual fund, which is what other people get confused of. Because in mutual fund, you have shareholder rights, diba? When you own a piece of that fund. But for the UITF, you don't. So you earn from the fund performance. And what's good about the UITF is because it's being handled by a fund manager, then that's less work for you, diba? All you need to do is to have that capital to invest in a UITF and choose what suits your risk appetite. And another benefit to that is that there's a wide range or variety of funds that you can choose from. So it will still depend on your goals, it will depend on your risk appetite. And another thing that I like about UITFs is that there's no entry fees, or it isn't as the management fees aren't as costly compared to mutual funds. So those are the pros of a UITF.
Got it. I've invested in UITFs before, actually. Um,
Before.
yeah,
Do you
well,
still hold it?
it's still open. It's been a
Mm.
decade now, but as the stock market it went up, I didn't
Mm-hmm.
withdraw because I was there for the long game, and now it went down again, and it's still recovering.
Mm-hmm.
So I have no idea what happened to that anymore because it's not a big amount of money. I just told the bank, "Oh, put in a small amount every month," and they do that. They can do that for you. So they'll put in a small amount every month, and last time I checked, which was maybe 2 years ago, it didn't make money. No, so but again, that depends on the market and that depends on
Yeah,
your
the type of
outlook.
fund also.
Yeah, yeah. So grabe, ang daming pwedeng investments, no? Daming pwedeng
True,
investment.
true. And yung UITFs kasi it's really recommended for long-term investors. So you won't really see that much gain in the first 7 years. So you have to wait for longer than that to actually see results. So UITFs are for long-term investors, hindi yung mga mid-term or short-term.
Pero grabe yung sinabi mo kanina, no? If you left it in a bank 2 years, parang buong buhay mo na yun, no?
Kaya nga eh, so invest. Ayan. Yeah, basically, yun yung sinasabi ko to convince people to start investing. Kasi diba, there are a lot who are still very hesitant. But diba, yun yung sinasabi ko palagi. I always say that it will take 72 years for your money to double in the bank. Whereas if you invest it, it can just take maybe more or less 4 years for it to double. Mm.
Yeah. Or if you're Marvin Gaye mo,
If you're Marvin Gaye, baka more
in a
than
month,
that, diba? Baka in a day, baka five
in a
minutes
day.
pa nga he can make. He can double it already.
Yeah. Yeah. Grabe yun. Okay. How do I know if I'm a high risk or a low risk trader?
Well, you can take a risk profile assessment. Ganun lang. There are lots of risk profile assessments online. But for you to identify it na, kunwari, yung tinatamad ka, it's based on two factors. Time horizon and your capital. So normally, if your time horizon is relatively short, then you're forced to sell, or there's a possibility that you can sell at a significant loss. So that's why it's riskier. Whereas, diba, if you invest long term, even though you have losses along the way, you can still recuperate. Another factor, going back to the second one, which is your capital. Basically, the amount of money that you can afford to lose will determine your risk tolerance. So, ayun yun, the more money you can actually use to trade, and if you're willing to lose all of it, then you're technically a high-risk trader. Yun lang yun. And you,
Yeah.
how about you, Sean? What would you say? Are you a high-risk or a low-risk trader?
I'd say I'm somewhere in the middle.
Middle,
But
moderate.
because of Marvin Gaye's hype, napa-high risk tuloy ako. No. But yeah, so I think I should have put less on my crypto. That's what I think right now. But maybe it's just because crypto is down. But yeah, I would say somewhere above average, maybe. Above average, yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Ikaw ba?
okay. Actually, I would say I'm not a trader. I'm not an active trader compared to Marvin Gerbo also. But like what you're saying about crypto, I think I have maybe about 10% of my portfolio in crypto. So it's not majority of it. It's not the biggest part. But again, it's the money that I'm willing to lose. Na kahit ma-zero, okay lang ako.
Yeah, somewhere there. Same.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think it's for me. It might have been too many. But yeah.
You
So
put too
high
much
risk.
ba?
You're probably somewhere same, right? Above average risk. No?
I would say I'm a high risk
High
investor.
risk.
High
Okay.
risk. I'm in that. And I
Yeah.
think it has a lot to do with age. So age
Yeah.
reveal.
Yeah. Super super young. Yeah.
Ano ulit ID number mo? Joke lang.
105.
Okay.
Yeah, tayo.
118.
118. There you go. So
Oo.
minus 13. Minus 13. Ilan taon na ba ako? I'm turning 33. So yeah, there you go. Do the math.
33 ba? Oh, okay, okay.
Turning 33. Yeah. So, from Mitch, can you
Okay,
tell
okay.
us the story, ayan, kwentuhan tayo, of how you grew the Money Health Check Facebook community?
Oh, so just the Facebook group. Well, okay, sige.
Yeah.
Kwento ko na lang yung brand itself. So basically, Money Health Check is a brand born out of my passion for teaching about financial literacy. So normally, when they hear of Money Health Check, they think it's, or the person behind it has always been very good with money, but that wasn't always the case, diba? Because diba, there are also a lot of people who would say money can't buy happiness. But in reality, that doesn't mean that finances can't affect your well-being. So, diba, if your financial health is in bad conditions, then it's going to affect several aspects of your life. So, that's why I feel as if you want to improve your well-being, then you also have to take care of your money health. And and in my setting, or the way I grew up is, we avoided talking about money because we thought that it's going to just cause stress, but it's going to cause a lot of arguments. So tendency is we would just avoid the topic. And then when I graduated and I started earning my own money, um, nahirapan ako doon. I didn't know how to manage it. I didn't know how to open a bank account even. I didn't know how to invest. So I feel as if you do several checkups to your financial health, just like how you would with your physical health, then you can better manage your financial stress. And in result, then it's going to lead you to your financial goals, and it's going to improve your overall wellness. So that's why it's called Money Health Check. And because I was consistently posting on TikTok, I sort of led my followers to a Facebook group wherein they can also ask questions and other people in the group can answer. So instead of sa TikTok nagiging one way lang siya, in the Facebook group, we get to interact two ways. So it's very similar to Sean's Discord, the Leadership Stack Discord, wherein people can ask questions and, you really get to connect with your community there. So that's how the Facebook group was born.
Yeah. And so yeah, community is super important if you are, especially like Tony, she's not doing it really for money or getting paid to do this. It is a calling. It is something that you do because you want to pay things forward. You want to help other people. Community is very important to spread the word, get the word out there.
Right,
And her
right.
follow up question is actually about TikTok. How do you plan the content that you're gonna do?
How do I plan it? So I learned this from Benjamin Law, and he said if you want to create consistent and quality content, your channel should have three types of content. So the first one should be educational. So this is content that teaches. Yung mga, what are the financial mistakes to avoid? What are the different types of insurances? Because this builds your credibility, diba? And then the second type of content that you should have is content that's entertaining, right? It doesn't have to be comedic content. It just has to show your values. It allows your viewers to understand or know your character as a content creator. And then the third type of content should be engaging. So how I create engaging content is when I reply to my followers' questions. So I usually reply with a video feature. So if you go to my TikTok channel, as in, it's a mix of everything. It's not too heavy on education. I put in a few entertaining mga what do you call that, meme-like videos, and then I also respond to comments with a with a video feature. So you can see how it can't be too heavy on one, because if let's say my content is just all on teaching, diba, it's too technical, then to others, you can seem like an intimidating person, right? Because sasabihin nila, magaling siya, right? But parang hindi siya approachable. So I like to put in entertaining content every now and then because it factors in that relatability to my followers, and at the same time they get to know me personally, basically who I am outside of being a financial advisor or a content creator. So I show like what Sean watched recently, a day in my life, mga ganon.
Yeah, very interesting
So that's what
stuff.
I do. So how about you, Sean? Like, how do you your content then?
Right now,
I think may delay
nothing
ulit.
that. Yeah, I needed to hear your advice because I don't have anything entertaining there. I don't think I have anything yet that shows like who I am, like a day in my life content. I don't think I've ever done. Yeah,
Really?
yeah,
Like vlog type of videos.
yeah. I haven't. Maybe I think I've written like
I think you
about my morning
do.
routine. Yeah, but
No,
never
you
vlog.
do on your Instagram.
Oh yeah, yeah. Instagram. Yeah,
Like if
that's. Uh,
Instagram, it's more personal. Though that's
yeah,
not like a business account for you, but if you go to his Instagram, you should follow him, by the way. He'll post pictures about his family, parang how he's also a father, the things that he likes to do, which is to travel, mga ganon. So again, hindi siya funny, pero it shows your character. That's what entertaining could mean. And you're
yeah,
engaging your community by this live show, diba? You're answering your followers' questions, and at the same time it becomes a two-way interaction. So it's a mix of three naman.
yeah. By the way, before I forget, dahil madalas kong makalimutan and pinapagalitan ako ng leadership staff team, no? We have a giveaway. So we're giving away two of my books as an ebook. So if you win, we'll just send it over to you via email. It's a PDF. Go to that link, leadme.ph/giveaway. You see the mechanics there. We made it super simple. And I think the deadline is July 14. So that's 2 weeks from now. You still have a really good chance to enter the giveaway. Again, super simple mechanics. I think you just need to share the YouTube channel and that's it. Check it out. And if you're interested, that's CEO 22 book right there. And then we have 50x your business for the giveaway as well. Okay, so yeah, Instagram. If you want to check out my Instagram, just look for Sean.c. That's my Instagram handle. And Tony, you're also on Instagram, right?
Yeah, I'm actually very active sa stories. So yeah, less business content. You'll see what I do also on a day-to-day basis, and I don't think my pictures have anything to do with finance too. So if you want to know me personally, I guess you can check out my feed on Instagram too. It's Antonette Aquino.
There you go. Now, how does one create a prosperity mindset when you don't have enough money or are just living off your savings?
Okay. How do you create a prosperity mindset, Sean? Ikaw muna. Mag-iisip ako.
I it came from the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. That
Mhm.
changed my perspective. So sabi ni Robert Kiyosaki dun sa book, the world is rich. It actually is
Mhm.
very, very rich. If you look at the GDP of US, for example, how many trillion dollars per year yung napaproduce nilang business. And you look at the Philippines, how many billions of dollars yung GDP din natin, di ba? Hindi tayo trillions, but we're still like in a billion-dollar scale. That's what we produce as a country. And so I thought, that's a lot of money, that's a lot of money. How come people keep thinking na mahirap ang buhay, mahirap ang pera, mahirap ang trabaho, walang pera. Di ba parang madalas ko marinig yun eh. Growing up, I didn't grow up in a rich family. Actually, we're like, we had enough to get by. And I would often hear that. I would often hear that from my parents na mahirap ang buhay, mahirap ang pera. And then when I read Robert Kiyosaki's book, I thought about it. Ano? Like, saan napupunta yung billion-dollar GDP ng Pilipinas? How can I also get into that GDP? Diba?
Mhm.
And what you have to do is really add value to yourself so you can add value to other people, and that's what the world will pay you for. That's my take on that.
Okay. So speaking of books, the book that changed my entire perspective about money is The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. And I always promote this book, even though hindi naman ako paid to say this, but that was the very first book that, as you've said, ako dati wala talaga. Well, I did have a stable job, but I couldn't save. And I couldn't even save 5% of my annual income back then because I would always think na okay lang na I finish all the money I have because I know next month I'd be able to get it again. So I realized the error of my ways when I read that book, and I learned how you should change your money script. So you know how sometimes whenever we see, let's say, someone riding a sports car, we would always have that negative mindset or would think na ang yabang niya, diba? Usually, that's how we view people who had money back then. And sometimes we tell ourselves, oh, I'll never be able to afford that. So if you keep thinking this way, or if you maintain this perspective, then you will feel as if you'll never be as successful as your wealthy friends. And this is basically an example of having a negative money script. So your money script will shape the way you view about money. And that's why another part of having a good money script is to have a direction for your money. So your money needs to have direction. And that's why, as financial advisors, we do financial planning, because it's important when you have a plan for your money so that at least you'll be able to shift your direction. You'll know your biggest why, about on why you're saving, on why you're investing. So even if you don't have if you don't have enough savings, thinking na ito yung goal mo, you want to be financially free, you want to be able to work at a job that you love without worrying about money, then you will be more motivated, or you shift your mindset to abundance when you have a direction for your goals. So that's my take on it.
Really good stuff, no? You know, we look at people who have billion-dollar businesses, like mentioned, person with a Ferrari. And I remember lang Elon Musk tweeted this not so long ago na we tell people about the American dream. We tell people to work hard, to hustle, have a successful outlook of the future. And then once you become a billionaire, people start looking at you and saying, why don't you give that away? Or why do you have all the money? It's so ironic what's happening to, di ba? Parang, yun ang mahirap sa world that the mindset is generally wrong. And even here in the Philippines, we have the crab mentality, laganap daw. So,
Right.
and you look at people, feel like they don't understand me because they're rich. That money could have been used to donate to the poor or something like that, right? And it's sad, sad because they worked for that. It's not like, well, some did. It's not like they were like stealing it from the people, but you know,
Right.
yeah, it's a case to case basis. But most people, they really worked hard for it, diba? So yeah,
Right. And I guess those misconceptions have a lot to do with how we were raised, yung upbringing. Ako kasi, I mean, I was born in quite a privileged family, but there was a point when we lost it all. So from having that comfortable lifestyle, we had to make a dramatic shift. So from a house, we had to move into an apartment that was only good for one person. Studio apartment lang siya, but we were 5 in the family, and I had to sleep on the floor. So, and nung time na yon, my mom still had that mindset na when money comes, we have to spend it. So even then, when we were so broke, she kept spending on bags, she kept spending on luxurious things, and dun ko naalala na parang ayun nga, your environment really affects the way you spend money, and that's why there is still a possibility for you to shift that. You keep surrounding yourself with people who are going to push you to shift into that mindset. So that's why I'm super thankful that right now I have a circle of friends who are just as motivated as me to make money, to invest money, and ayun. So it also has a lot to do with your circle of friends. Kaya nga sabi nila, diba, your network is your net worth.
yes, tama yan. Kaya ako malupit ako kay kanila Marvin, kanila Jason.
Super ano naman na friends ako with Sean also. Malay mo, baka I might CEO at 21. Pwede din, diba? Or baka
Yon.
22. One more year. O, diba? Mm-mm.
Yon, okay. Guys, alam niyo na kung yung edad ni Tony, ayan.
Oo nga pala, okay. Ayun, ayun. So,
But yeah, really good stuff. And I think,
mm,
at your age, doing what you do, you'd probably blow past whatever it is that I've been able to also do during that time. I mean, the book CEO 22 sounds great, but if you saw me in my parents' attic trying to start SEO hacker, it's nothing glorious at all. It's not like I had
right,
a
right.
fully air conditioned office, carpeted, wala
Mm,
lahat yon. So it's really grind, hard work and getting to know people. Kagaya nga na sabi ni Tony, that's very important.
exactly, exactly. And actually, hearing Sean's story helps a lot because when we see successful people, the millionaires or billionaires, we see them at their highest peak. But you get to learn a lot more from their struggles, their journey on how they came to be. And that helps you realize na okay, so kailangan pagdaanan to, na this is just part of the process. And yeah, so I know some of you are familiar with Sean's story, and when I remember na back then, yun nga, like you were broke and you were with your girlfriend who's now your wife, parang nakaka-inspire in that sense.
Yeah. One of the things that I always share when people ask like how do you become successful, I tell them don't ask how a sausage is made while you're eating one. So if you want to know how to be successful, what makes success, it's a lot of failures. That's really what makes success. If you're failure averse, don't think that you're gonna be able to achieve your picture of success. You'll get by for sure.
Exactly.
You'll get by, but
Mhm.
don't think you'll achieve your picture of success. So a lot of
Mhm.
failure goes into it. No, Tony, I'm sure you've had your share to be where
Mhm.
you are now, di ba? Yeah.
Okay,
Nakikita ko
that's
yung
why
mga ibang TikTok content na dati ito yung mga sinasabi nila, pero ngayon, oh, di ba?
mga glow up stories kasi 'di ba usually yung common question that we get even as content creators is about how to be you po, and then whenever they see me now, parang they envision someone na sobrang independent, ang galing. So what I like to do is I like posting content of me when I was super bad, like I remember posting a TikTok video of me when I would have a blackout. I would cry after a talk or every time I would do public speaking because I was never as good as I am now. So I'm not saying I'm good now, but back then talagang it was really bad. I had a stutter problem and all of these things. So when I show people that side, it actually inspires them that there is hope to improve, diba? Mm-mm.
Yeah. Yeah, we're people too, We're people too.
True, true.
Here's a follow-up question. How much is too much to pay for self-improvement? What are the factors to consider before enrolling in a high-ticket course or hiring a mentor or coach? Okay to ah.
Mm, interesting. Well, sige ako muna.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Ako kasi, in my experience, I've never paid for a coach or I never hired one. Although I do know that there are people who accept mentees and then there's like a fee in exchange. But I actually allocate a portion of my income to my education fund. So, sa fund na yon, I know that, like, for example, if I come across a seminar, a paid talk, or a course that I want to be a part of, then I just tap into that fund because yung pera na yan, alam ko na nakalaan talaga siya for that purpose. So it's a bucket that I replenish every month so that if in case I come across ayun nga, like a mentor that I want to hire or a course, I can just tap into that fund. So I guess it really depends on how much of your income you're willing to budget for that. But in your case, ikaw, since you are a mentor to a million already, so
No.
what do you have to say about that?
Actually, it's funny because a lot of people ask me to if I can mentor them, but I have rules if you want me to mentor you. It's not a lot. It's just three rules. Number one, what did you do? about what we talked about. If we had the session already, what did you do about it? Because if you didn't do anything about it, then don't ask me to be your mentor. We can be friends, but not a mentor-mentee relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Number two would be um, ask me your questions. So before we meet, I require you to have a list of 10, 20 questions, or five questions, whatever it is you want to learn, and that's it. And number three would be, when do you plan to apply all of these things? So it could be like questions first, when do you plan to apply? And then sa next meeting natin, okay, what did you do? Ganun lang. But it's actually quite simple how I mentor people. But if that isn't followed, then we shouldn't be mentor-mentee. And then
Mm-hmm.
I also don't book you. Usually as the mentee, you book the mentor. You ask for the time. And before the pandemic, when I asked people for their time to mentor me in a certain area that I want to grow into, for example, I vividly remember asking David Bonifacio of the Coffee Bean Group. I forgot the name specifically of what the group they are now, but he works with the Coffee Bean Group. I asked him, why did you sell your company to them and became part of their board? Because you could have done it your own way. You could have just bootstrapped, because you had the bootstrap money. And I learned about stocks and shares and his decision and how on why he did that, and if he could do it all over again, what he would do differently. I learned a lot actually in that 1 hour mentorship. I told him, just 1 hour, I'll buy you lunch. Let's meet. I'll go to you in your office. And he said yes. Didn't cost me anything. A couple of months ago, I hit the president of Sante Barley, Mr. Joey Marcelo, and I had two mentorship meetings with him already. I asked him, how do you do your performance bonuses? Very big deal for me, because I want to give performance bonus to my people, but I had no idea how to compute it. I was missing so many parts of the equation na I don't know how to piece it together. Paano nga ba kung bibigay performance bonus? Paano ba kino-compute yun? I'm an idiot when it comes to that. I asked him. I learned it from him. Really good stuff. He was gracious enough to even give me an hour and a half of his time in one session. That was really good. And then we're also, this year, we're planning to professionalize. So it's the first time we're considering hiring an executive, an AVP, an assistant vice president to join the team. And I had no idea. Again, I'm an idiot when it comes to that. So I hit up the president of Ayala Land International, Miss Ana Tatlonghari, and I
Wow.
asked her, "Hey, can you give me 1 hour of your time?" And she's like, "Of course,
She's game
awesome."
naman.
Yeah, I spoke at their event like 3 4 years ago, and she's game, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot how they hire, their culture. Ang galing ng Ayala Land. Wala akong masabi, hands down. And right now, we're trying to figure out how we're gonna meld that in SEO Hacker. And guys, here's the thing: I didn't pay anything for any of that. I didn't pay anything. But I love these people. They know if I could pay them, I would, but they didn't ask for my money. And this is because these are people who also love helping other people. Now, nothing wrong in paying for self-improvement, having an education fund like Tony. Actually, I would recommend you have that, because when an opportunity comes that there's a really, really good webinar that you can enroll in, or a really good coach or mentor that you can get, might be life-changing. But do your research first. Okay ba talaga tong tao na to? Does he or she have a heart really to help people, or namimera lang? Kasi may mga ganun, maraming gurus na medyo con artist, no? So there's a lot. I'm not gonna name any. I'm just gonna tell you, do your research. Um, but self-improvement, you could pay nothing and grow like I did. I'd say leaps and bounds. Or yeah, maybe you're wondering, Sean, you paid for your John Maxwell certification. That's also a lot of money. Yes, I did. And what I wanted there was the content. Ang dami nilang kwento. And now I can use all of the content for my talks. The certification is nice, saying that I'm a John Maxwell certified coach and speaker. That's nice. But the content, me incorporating that in my talks, it's what's really important for me because I'm learning it, I'm listening to his stuff. I've read a lot of his books. I've been a fan since I was 13, and I'm still learning today. And that stuff, if I can put it in my webinars and in my leadership stack lives, that's gold. I bought something that's a lot more valuable for me. Which reminds me, before I forget,
Wow. So that's
yeah, we have webinar this July 17 entitled Grow and Balance Your Life. A grow and balance your life. That's the link right there, leadme.ph/grow balance. Malapit na. It's just 950 pesos. Not a lot, not a huge investment in yourself. It's less than 1,000 pesos. And you can join for 2 hours yon. 2 hours, I'll be speaking live and you can ask questions there after the webinar. It's Saturday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. So eat your dinner early.
It's
There you go.
actually speaking of certifications and webinars, like what you said earlier. There's this masterclass for financial advisors by Randall Tiongson, and I saw the list of speakers. Nandun si Marvin Guermo, Rex Mendoza, Dr. Alvin Ang, and like as soon as I saw the enrollment phase was out, I was like, take my money, diba? Because it's of course you're gonna get your money's worth if sino pa ba, diba? And I guess in your case, it's true na you don't need to pay for a mentor because usually the mentors that I, ask help from, they're quite big, diba? Ano na sila, big names in the industry. So, ano pa ba yung money na ibibigay? So, they have all the money that you could ever imagine. So, I guess, like what you've said, a lot of them are willing to help people. It's just that you have to also take the courage to step out and reach out to them, diba?
Yeah. All it takes is guts, That's it. By the way,
True,
did
true.
you enroll na in Randall's masterclass?
Tapos na, I did back in April. I'm
Got it.
already
Yeah.
done with the course. Super
Awesome.
worth it. And I'm not even paid to say this also. I just think you guys, if you're planning to enter the industry, even for those who are still, ready to be coded as FAs, you should definitely join that masterclass. It's a must. And when you finish it, you also get your AFP certification. So,
Wow.
yun.
Well, hit me up next time. He's a good friend of mine. Maybe I could tap him and say, hey, and connect you guys. Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. All right. So hope we answered that question. Can I teach myself how to trade and rely on free content and communities online? What are the benefits of enrolling in a trading academy? I have never enrolled in one. How about you?
I have not, but I know a few content creators who started out by just watching YouTube videos, reading books, but eventually when they started growing their community, they had to take courses, they had to join trading academies because building your credibility is part of it also. And I learned this from my client who's also a fitness coach. I think he's also tuned in. And he talked about how he does most of his sessions via Zoom. And bakit di na lang mag-YouTube, diba? Like, sure, you can watch workout videos on YouTube, but when you have a coach or if you have a mentor in let's say a community, then there's also that you also get the accountability factor. And at the same time, at least the way you learn will be personalized based on your pacing, diba? I mean, yeah, sure, you can do it yourself, but at the same time, it will be difficult to track your progress. Diba? If you have any inquiries or questions, you just you have Google as your friend. But yun nga, for me, I would say you can start with that. And then if you feel confident or if you research about the trading academy, you saw the reviews, it's worth it naman, then I'd say you should try it out, diba?
Yeah.
What's your take on that, Sean?
I remember I've been to one trading course workshop. That's Marvin Guermo's Stock Smarts
Stock
workshop.
smarts.
Yeah, highly recommended. Highly recommend. Everything I know about stock trading came from Marvin Guermo, and the books that I read, like Warren Buffett's. Oh no, that's not. He didn't write that book, but it's titled Buffettology, written by his daughter-in-law, I think, or ex-daughter-in-law, something like that. That's a really good book as well. Otherwise, if you want to do
Right.
it right, do it well. Marvin Stock Smarts, can't recommend it highly enough.
Yeah. And on top of that, you can also check out Trading Like a Stock Market Wizard by Mark Miniveri. I hope I pronounced that right. So that's like a Bible for traders. Everything that you want to know about chart patterns, about trading, you'll find it in that book. So normally you start with that and then you can explore trading courses that are paid. Ayan.
There you go. From Vian, yes, go trade. All right. She's also using go trade. Let me just
Hello.
go through all my
Nawala
shout
yata.
out. Santino Rosales, that's my mentor. All right. Gonna rewatch this from Nino. Thanks, Nino, for being here.
Wow.
Happy you're here. We get to see
I'm seeing
different thoughts.
familiar faces here. Si Nino, si Santi.
Yeah. Michelle Ann Lopez, thank you for being here. Glad you're here tonight. Wow. JC Pabulos, thank you sa Financial Literacy Group at kay Enery. Oh, shout out to Enery. Been in his podcast, no, not podcast, but show just a couple of weeks ago.
Wow.
There you go. What's up, Nazim? Thanks
Hi,
for being
Nazim.
here.
Welcome.
All right. I guess we're gonna take this last question, or maybe second to the last question, because meron pang client call, and yeah, busy night, huh? Um, how do I build my team, expand my brand, and connect with more people? Are you building your team now, Tony?
Yes, so I have around 25, some that are yet to be coded. And yeah, I would love to hear that advice from you. I'm sure I'd learn a lot.
Oh, build my team. First off, one of my biggest mistakes is I didn't take time to screen them when I was hiring. So I hired because I needed people. That's a really bad reason for hiring. You should hire before you need a position filled, because the screening time should be enough for you to get to really know the person. There's a lot of ways to hire. I recently recorded a guest in the Leadership Stack podcast on Spotify. His name is Dancho Dimkov, and he's from Macedonia. And he's like, oh, when we hire, we just get like the 4 or 5 applicants, and we get them all, and we give them a project, and we check who's gonna be fit in our culture, and then we just get those who are good fit, and we get rid of the others. So I'm not saying that there's a one holy grail way to hire, but it would really depend on what you need and what your company is like. I can't do it the way he does, because we have big accounts. We can't like give account A, which is a very very big mall here in the Philippines, to this account manager, and then oh, hindi pala siya fit, palitan natin. Of course, it's gonna piss the client off, and we don't want that to happen. We might lose the account. So in our case, we really take our time screening people. I guess when you're building a team, you want people who have a certain calling deep inside them.
Right.
May mga ibang tao, you ask them, what are you doing? Oh, I'm laying bricks on top of each other. And then there's some people, you ask them, what are you doing? And they'd say, oh, I'm building a cathedral. And then there are some people, you ask them, what are you doing? Oh, I'm building the house of God. I want to hire that last person, not the first one na, oh, I'm just laying bricks on top of one another. And so often
Mhm.
we hired that first person who's just laying bricks on top of one another. Ganun lang yung tingin niya sa trabaho niya, because we don't
Mhm.
take the time to screen them. So for me, the first step is take the time in hiring people. Expanding your brand is all about consistency. So with SEO Hacker, our branding is all about quality and extra mile service. And of course, we rank number one, or first page for a lot of keywords in my industry. We dominate it. We have so many clients in the Philippines that are really, really good brands, big companies, and we made them rank number one or first page. And we have proven ourselves time and again. So if you think about SEO, it's SEO Hacker here in the Philippines. At least we're number one here in the country, and you're consistent with that. You don't change your positioning bigla na we're number one, not just in SEO but in traditional marketing as well. No, we don't do that. We just say when it comes to SEO, we're number one. We don't even say we're the best in social media marketing. We're just saying when it comes to SEO, we're number one. That's it. Um, So be consistent with your branding. A lot of lessons as well with Nike and Adidas. Nike has been the same. It's the check logo. Just do it has always been the tagline. With Adidas, I like their tagline, impossible is nothing. But after that, they changed it. I think the year after, they're not so consistent with that. And so I don't even know what their tagline is right now, right? So good branding, be consistent. Connecting with people is all about humility. For me, it's all about humility. Because a lot of people don't try to connect with another person because nahihiya or na they feel like it's beneath them. So when you feel like connecting with people is beneath you, then leadership is beyond you and you can't lead. Leadership is beyond you and you will not be able to lead when you cannot connect with people. So it's about being humble, knowing who you are and knowing na yun sabi nga namin ni Tony kanina, tao lang din tayo, diba? Whatever success we have been able to get through, at the end of the day, we're just another human being trying to help out another human being and trying to make our way in the world, diba? So be humble and you'll be able to connect with everyone. I'd say, everyone. No secret to that. There's no secret to that. Yeah, that's my. Those are my tips. Hopefully that helps.
And I can attest to that also. And that's why Sean is really one of the people that I look up to. Yes, number one sila talaga sa SEO. And that's why my website is also being handled by them. Thank you again to Sean and his team. Ayun.
There you go. So yeah, excited for that to be launched. Hopefully, very very soon. And we'll you will definitely know when Tony's site is live. No Money Health Check. At that, it's 9 p.m. That's all the time we have tonight. Maybe next time we have Tony, we could go a little bit overtime again at 10 p.m. But tonight's a busy
Sure.
night. And we love that you guys are here. Thank you so much. Meron ba ako na miss na shoutouts? Wala naman. All right. So guys, do not forget, please follow Tony on TikTok. There's the link, tiktok.com/Antonette Aquino. And if you haven't checked it out yet, we have the webinar this July 17. So 2 weeks from now na lang to. Leadme.ph/grow balance. That is grow and balance your life. If you feel like medyo spinning out of place ka ngayong pandemic, maraming inconsistency sa life mo, maraming ups and downs, no? And a lot of people feel that way. I created the webinar exactly for that reason. And if you haven't joined the giveaway, we're giving away 2 of my books. Not against my will, but that my team told me we should give away 2 of my books. No, so no, I'm just kidding. But you can win it. Mechanics are super super simple. Hope you join, and hope you learned a lot tonight. I know I did from Tony. Tony, thank you so much for being in here and joining me again tonight.
Of course, thank you again for having me. Again, if you have any insights that you'd like to share, go share this live show or post your learnings on your social media platforms. Again, the links are in the description box, I think.
There you
Uh-oh.
go. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We are Leadership Stack live every 8 p.m. Thursdays, and I will see you guys next week.